Number 4. Okay, that's the first thing I want you to know. The copyright in a cinematic film. So when you make a film, you have the sound recording copyright, the lyrics copyright, and the music copyright, right? So even though you've combined all of them and made a film, it shall not affect the separate copyright in any work. So all the individual copyrights will subsist. That's what 13.4 keeps saying. No matter what happens, even if you combine everything, the individual copyrights will always subsist. Okay, that's what I want you to know. Then section 14 gives you all the rights that a copyright holder has, right? So that is something we already know. Uh, Section 14. Yeah. So for a literary work, a dramatic work, a musical work, all these are the rights that they have. For a computer program, these are the rights they have. After that, for a sound recording, artistic work, these are the rights that are there. For a cinematographic work, these are the rights. And lastly, for a sound recording, these are the rights. So section 14 gives all the rights for the copyright holders. Okay. After that, let's go to section 18. Just a quick recap, and then we'll move on. Section 18, just it talks about one important thing. Okay, when you're assigning a copyright to someone, as in I'm the lyricist, A.R. Rahman is the music director, right? He's giving the musical copyright to producer Karan Johar. And when he's doing it, Karan Johar has the right to produce the music in Blu-ray discs, correct? That's what he's getting the license for. But Karan Johar thinks tomorrow some new technology like yellow ray disc might come up, right? So in that agreement, in that license agreement, he puts a certain clause saying that this license agreement covers all the existing and future technologies that may be developed for the sale of music. So he thinks he's being very smart. So when that yellow ray disc comes, he doesn't have to go to A.R. Rahman again. He can start producing in the new disc. Okay. So can he do this? That is what section 18 talks about. When you're assigning a copyright to someone, proviso number 2, it states that no such assignment shall be applied to any medium or mode of exploitation of the work which did not exist or was not in commercial use. What does that mean? If yellow ray disc does not exist today, or if it's not being commercially used right now, then you cannot put that clause in the agreement. And this is something Srihari had pointed out, unless the assignment specifically referred to such medium or mode of the work. Unless Karan Johar actually describes the technology, he explains what yellow ray disc is, when it is going to come in. If he specifically describes it, then he's fine. Then he can do this. But if he just puts a general clause saying all future technologies, this does not apply. Okay, that's it. After that, section 19 only talks about when you're giving the assignment, when you're assigning the license, it has to be written. It has to be in writing. You can't do it orally. Okay, that is the background. Moving on to the actual notes. We're starting from where he left off. Okay, we're recording, right, guys?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so let us go very slowly because I don't have a PPT. We'll go very slowly, and after each section, just tell me if you have any doubts. Okay, when I'm exhausted, there's too much fatigue and stress. So let's take it very slow. So section 30 and section 30A of the Copyright Act, I've not put the bare act. They talk about the method of licensing and the method of assignment. What is the difference between licensing and assignment? Okay, when you're assigning a work, you're transferring the whole ownership. As in, I've written a book. Now I'm giving an assignment to Anil. Okay, when I'm giving an assignment, the ownership is transferred. I'm only the author, but now the owner of the copyright is Anil, and then he can do whatever he wants with it. When I'm licensing it, that means I'm only giving the right to use the work temporarily. Suppose I'm licensing the work to Ajinkya, he may use the work only temporarily as to the terms of the license. He's not the owner. I'm still the owner. Okay, I'm only giving him the right to use the work. He's not the owner. That is the difference between licensing and assignment. And section 30 and 38 talk about this. Okay. Now coming back to section 19, what did you remember? Assignment must be in writing. It cannot be oral, right? And it's a violation of section 5 of Transfer Property Act, where it says that transfer property can be oral, right? So don't worry about that. So moving on, let's say Vishnu writes a novel. He's an author. I've written a novel. It's a literary work, correct? And under section 14, all the rights under literary work come to me. I have all those rights, and I may use these rights as I wish. And these are standalone rights. So nobody can interfere with them. Nobody can touch them. And to earn the best royalty for myself, I can monetize it as and when I like. Being the author, I'm also the owner. If I assign it to someone, if I'm assigning the work to Anil, Anil becomes the owner. So I'm the assigner. I'm giving the assignment to the assignee, who's Anil, on the rights to make a cinematographic work. Now that I've assigned it, the owner is Anil. Okay. If I've licensed it, I'm still the owner. Anil can only use it based on the terms of the license. I can give the license only for 2 years, license only for 5 years, or I can give the license only for certain languages. Yeah, Anil can make a film only in Telugu and Kannada. He cannot make it in Hindi. And I can give the license for Hindi to Ajinkya. Okay, that is a license. And I'm assigning it, I've transferred the ownership, I have no business now. So coming to section 18, what did you remember from section 18? No such assignment, medium or mode of exploitation of the work which did not exist, right? Unless it has been specifically referred, correct? So this is what proviso 2 is stating. And what Sir said is the technology must be specifically mentioned. A general clause of just saying all future technologies will not hold water. Okay, moving on. Anil knows the market. Okay, so he puts a clause saying that he wants to cover all after arising technology under Proviso 2 of Section 18. Look at what Anil is doing. He has put a clause saying, I know I've taken the assignment from Vishnu. I'm going to put a clause saying after all the after arising technology also I'll be able to exploit. Now, what does Section 18 say? Section 18 says that you cannot do this. Unless the medium or mode of exploitation exists, you cannot do this. Correct? So Anil cannot do this. So Anil puts the clause of after arising technology and it will be void. Correct? No doubts no about this. It is void. But Section 30A says that only Section 19 will apply for licensing and not Section 18. Wait, I'll explain it clearly to you now. Section 18 says that I cannot put the clause of after arising technology, correct? Section 19 does not say that. But Section 30A says that with respect to licensing, Section 18 does not apply. Only Section 19 applies. That means when I'm giving a license, I can put this after arising technology clause. Okay. So what does Section 30A state? The provisions of Section 19 shall apply in relation to a license. So what can Anil do now? If he makes an assignment, if he takes an assignment from me, he cannot put the after arising technology clause. But if Anil takes a license from me, so Section 18 applies to assignments, perfect. Section 18 does not apply to licenses. So because of 30A and Section 19 in licensing, the clause on after arising technology is valid. So just to be able to put that after arising clause, Anil tells, I don't want an assignment, Vishnu, just give me a license. Okay, is this clear? Is this clear? This is the first concept today. Yeah.
Like, what is difference between like assignment and licensing?
Yes, assignment means the whole ownership has been transferred. I have no business now. I'm the author. I've assigned it to Anil now. Now I go out of the picture completely. Anil is the owner. Okay.
Like Section 13 also, that original rights.
Yeah. Original rights will be with Anil now because he's the owner. Okay. Section 13(4) will apply to Anil now. He's the owner. I'm only the author. Okay. And the author has certain moral rights. I had put it in the PPT long back, Section 58 something, moral rights of the author, but that's irrelevant. Okay. So when you assign it, Section 18 applies. When you license it, Section 18 does not apply. Okay. So you can put the after arising technology clause in licensing. Very simple. So Anil tells, I don't want assignment, you give me license. That's all. Very simple. Moving on now. Exclusive license. What is an exclusive license? Where Vishnu transfers to Anil a complete package of the rights to the licensee and the complete rights for the entire duration of the copyright duration. Okay. What does this mean? It's a license, but it's almost an assignment. Okay. An assignment is also where I'm transferring all the rights to the licensee and for the entire duration of the copyright, but it's not an assignment. I've only found a loophole and called it a license. Okay. So the clause including the after arising technologies will be valid. Although the owner is Vishnu because it's only a license and Anil has all the de facto rights. So you'll ask me what is the difference between an assignment and an exclusive license because they're the same thing, correct? Only, but in an assignment, I can't put an after arising technology clause, but in a license, I can do it. So what do? I broaden the concept of a license. I make it an exclusive license. So it's almost the same as an assignment, except only the difference is I am still the owner. Okay. So what is this contradiction? Why does this contradiction between assignment and exclusive license exist? Is it a deliberate loophole put by the legislature or is it something accidental? And this is a question that remains. Okay, so what will Anil do now? So Anil wants to put the after arising technology clause. He can't take an assignment from me because Section 18 will apply. So he will take a license from me, but he wants more rights. So he will ask for an exclusive license. Okay, very simple it is. And it's not very simple at all. It's very complicated, but I've tried to make it as simple as possible. So some additional points on exclusive license. Okay, so Vishnu has given an exclusive license to Anil. Anil has all the de facto rights as he would have if it had been an assignment. Now Aishwarya starts infringing the copyright. She copies the work and she starts releasing it, producing it. So who files the infringement suit? Will the owner file it or will Anil file it? Will I file it or will Anil file it? Because Anil is only the licensee. I am still the owner. So should I file it? But it's an exclusive license. So Anil has all the de facto rights. So who files the infringement suit? Okay. The answer is Section 54 states that the owner of the copyright is also an exclusive licensee. Okay. So Anil will also be considered an owner of the copyright. So in this case, who files the case? The exclusive licensee will be considered as the owner. So Anil will file the suit, but the licensor must also be party to the suit. The owner must also be party to the suit. I need to change this. Okay. So Anil will file the suit against Aishwarya. I will be a party to the suit. Okay. That's how it happens. An exclusive license can be offered only to one person. Can I give exclusive license to the whole class? I can't, right? Then it won't be exclusive. It's given only to one person. A non-exclusive license, as in a normal license, can be offered to multiple people. I can give Ajinkya the rights to make my book in Hindi. I can give Anirban the rights to make my book in Bengali. stuff like that, multiple people. Okay, and verbal agreements, are they possible? Of course not. Section 19 states only written agreements are possible. Next, online agreements. Suppose the agreement happened online. You click I agree on your computer, right? Are these valid? It's called a click wrap agreement, no? Click wrap, shrink wrap agreements. Are they valid? Section 19, if you see the whole barrack, it says that the assignment must be in writing. Correct? Perfect. And it requires the signatures of the copyright owner or the authorship representation of the copyright owner, as in somebody legally representing him. So does this happen in an online agreement? No. Okay. So is it valid? Of course not. It is not. Okay. Contract law, what we have studied in contracts, it allows the acceptance by conduct, as in click wrap agreements are allowed. So click wrap and shrink wrap agreements are allowed. Online agreements are allowed in contract law. But in copyright law, section 19(1) says acceptance by conduct is not allowed. So these contracts are governed by laws of US, UK, but not in India. So if you make a click wrap agreement in India with respect to copyright, some kind of copyright assignment you want to do with an online agreement, it is not binding. Okay. So if two Indians, one of them is in the US, so they can agree to be governed by American law, then the licensing contract is valid because American law allows it, acceptance by conduct. But if both the Indians live in India, then lex loci contractus, right? The contract will obey Indian law. Then the Indians will have to be governed by Indian law. And if then they make a licensing contract which is governed by Indian law, 19(1) will apply and the agreement will be void. Click wrap, shrink wrap agreements and copyright are not allowed. They're void. Okay. And this is the last point I want to give you. If Vishnu gives a transferable license to Anil, I've put even the transfer clause in the exclusive license to Anil. Anil can license it out again to someone else. Okay. So it is an exclusive license, gives him all the rights. That's all. This concept is clear now. Are we clear with exclusive license? I'll be moving on. Any doubts?
Vishnu, still like some rights in exclusive license, all rights are lost by the copyright owner.
Sorry, I didn't understand. One more time.
All rights he loses.
He doesn't lose them. Yes, transferred them. Don't say it lose because he's still the owner.
Okay.
All the rights under section 14A, section 13(4) are transferred. That's all.
But then, okay, can this be revoked or something like that?
Yeah, if it is a license, it can be revoked. Assignment, you cannot. Okay.
Okay.
Coming to section 20. Okay. Section 20 is just a small irrelevant portion. Just understand what it is. It is transferring a copyright by testamentary disposition. As in, can I transfer a copyright by writing a will to my own children? I can. Okay. So the father, he transfers the manuscript of an unpublished novel to his daughter. Is it allowed? Since it is unpublished, the daughter will be entitled to copyright for 60 years duration. It's called posthumously she will be entitled to it. So will the daughter be entitled to this, to collect the royalty for the copyright, for the IP? Yeah, it's possible. That's what section 20 states. Moving on. What are open source licenses? This is a very important topic. Try and understand what open source is, okay? So if you have a clue of computer science, if you have some slight background in computer science, you know that a lot of programmers, they write programs for different kind of softwares and they upload it online for free. Okay, they'll put certain conditions and then they upload it. They still have the copyright, okay? But you can access them for free. It is put in the public domain. So this is what open source is. So is it possible to put a copyright work in public domain before the expiry of its term? Forget all the things I said, okay, about computers. I've written a book now. I've written a new novel, science fiction novel. Can I release it to the public? Can I do it? I can, right? I am the copyright owner, correct? I can do it. But for me to do it, I have to do it by giving notice in all the national daily newspapers. And what notice should I give? I'm giving a notice that I'm relinquishing my copyright. That is section 21, where you relinquish the rights of copyright. I'm the author. I have all the rights under section 14A, section 13(4), all the rights, no, as a copyright holder, as the owner of the copyright. I can relinquish them under section 21. How can I do it? The author may relinquish all or any of the rights by way of notice, by giving a notice in the prescribed form, as in I have to give it in all the daily newspapers. There's some nonsense method. Then such rights shall cease to exist from the date of the notice. Okay, that's called relinquishing copyright. Once I do it, I'm pretty screwed. I have no right. And there are two more clauses under section 21. I've not included them. So what does SM say? Only the owner has the right to relinquish and not the author. So if I've assigned it to Anil, Anil becomes the owner. I cannot relinquish it after I've assigned it. Anil can relinquish it. Okay. Once I've done assignment, my case is closed. If I license it, I have a right. That's all. Okay. So why did we discuss relinquishing now? So Sharath writes a novel. Okay. He has all the rights under 14A of a literary work, all the copyright rights and as an owner of the copyright, because he's the author and the owner, right? Now he assigns the entire set of rights to Bhuvan, the complete package. So Bhuvan is the assignee. Bhuvan becomes the de facto owner now. So Bhuvan is the owner. Okay. Now he takes 5 crores from Bhuvan. It's called an ex ante assignment. And this is something he discussed in the before the previous exam. What is ex ante assignment and ex post assignment? Basically what it means is, suppose I license some product. Every month I collect royalty, no? I license this film to Srihari. Every month that he plays it, he gives me 10 rupees. That is called ex post. So after I've assigned it, I'm getting royalty from it. Ex ante means beforehand only. When I'm assigning it only, I take 5 crores as a lump sum. I'm like, Srihari, I don't want any business with this. You pay me 5 crores and you take my product. Okay, that's called ex ante. So Sharath takes 5 crores from Bhuvan and he gives the rights to Bhuvan. Okay. Now Sharath wants to relinquish his rights. Look at this now. He has taken 5 crores from Bhuvan. Bhuvan has already paid him 5 crores. Now Sharath tells, I want to relinquish under section 21. And now he sends a notice in Times of India saying that he's relinquished his rights over that thing. The relinquishment does not affect a pre-existing license or agreement. Okay. But Bhuvan is getting screwed over in this entire situation. Why? Because he has paid 5 crores for the work now. And now suddenly the work is free for everyone. So how will Bhuvan recover his money now? So what remedy does Bhuvan have? We'll see the remedies later on. Okay. So I just want you to, I'm explaining different concepts. All of it is going to fit together for open source. Okay. So there's a public spirited citizen, as in he doesn't care about money, making money, his own reputation, all that. He wants the public to enjoy, as in how I'm giving this meet now for the general class, right? So after giving it to the public, he finds that certain publishers are enjoying it commercially. Like he has put the work, he has written a novel, he has put it in the public domain. He wants the public to enjoy it for free. Now he finds out certain publishers have taken his work and now they're selling it commercially. He doesn't want this to happen, right? But can he stop them? If he has relinquished his rights, he can't do anything, correct? Under section 21, once he has relinquished, he has lost all the rights of a copyright holder. He becomes an ordinary citizen. So he cannot stop them if he has relinquished his rights. But under the open source model, he can do something. Why? Since you want it only for the public good, can you stop them from publishing it? Yes. So the owner retains the copyright. He is not relinquishing it. Okay, if you relinquish it, you're screwed, finished, game over. So he holds on to the copyright and he puts his conditions and then he releases it for the general public under open source model, where the copyright still exists. He still has certain terms and conditions, but he still puts it out to the public. So now some of the public can enjoy it, but they will have to follow his terms and conditions. And in his terms and conditions, he would have put, you cannot commercially exploit the work. So now no new publisher can come and sell the work. Okay. So this is called open source model, open source licensing. Okay. So when a man writes a book, I write a novel, I put it on the internet. Okay. And before you download the novel from the internet, there's a click wrap agreement. As in it says that, look, you can download the book, you can read the book, you can enjoy it, you can give the book to others also, but you cannot sell the book commercially. And that person accepts it. He clicks accept and he takes the book. Okay. In India, this doesn't work, right? I've told you click wrap agreements don't apply in copyright for India. So assume that I live in the US and this has happened. So you may download the book. Since you accept the contract before downloading it, the copyright will still exist with the owner. Owner has not relinquished. Owner will dictate the terms, what all you can do with it. You may only download it and use it for free. You may share it to other people under the same terms and conditions. Okay. The contract has a term called share alike. So you may share it with the same terms and conditions. The consumer may put it on his own website and under the same terms and conditions. He can do 101 things, but he has to follow the dictation of the owner. Okay. Therefore, the wishes of the owner are always upheld in open source licensing. And this is something called copyleft. I'm not even making this up. You've heard about copyright, right? So in copyleft, it's a method for work to be modified and distributed back to the community. So you may do as and what you wish. So what does copyright do? It protects the work of the author, right? Copyleft, it disseminates the work to the public. Okay, based on the terms and conditions that the author has put. It's called copyleft. So imagine there's a crimes paper. Okay, imagine the crimes paper came and we are all writing the exam. I start off. Okay, I write my answer. Then I pass on the answer sheet to Ajinkya. Then Ajinkya sees my answer and he makes certain amendments. He makes it better. He adds some more case laws. He improves the bare act. He changes the conclusion. He improves the answer. Then we pass it on to Anirban. Anirban sees it. He improves the answer even more. Then it passes on to Bhuvan. Then it goes to Sadaf and Ruchika. Then it goes to 101 people. Then the entire class has revised it once. At the end of 30 students, 35 students, will it not be the best answer possible? It will be an answer better than what Professor Deepa can write. Correct? Because the answer has been refined and molded so many times. By the time it reaches the end, it will be the most perfect answer you can have, right? So I want you to understand this concept now. So there's a software engineer.
She'll still give 6 marks only, Vishnu. She'll still give 6 marks only after the 35 people.
Let's try it for an exam and then decide. Let's try it.
She'll still give 6 marks. Okay.
All right. All right. So wait. So there's one software engineer, okay? He releases a program for calculator, some game he releases with 100 modules, some program with 100 modules. So one user downloads it. It's open source, right? He downloads it. He improves it. He adds 10 new modules. Who has the copyright now? He does not have it. The original owner still has the copyright over it. So when he shares it again with the new modifications, he must offer it subsequently to the others under the same terms and conditions that he got it from. That means I wrote the first terms paper, Kimes paper, right? I own the copyright over it. No matter how many of you modify it, I still have the copyright over it. Okay, so I get the full marks. You guys get 6. So thousands of coders keep improving the code over and over and over, and it ends up becoming more robust than even proprietary software. What does proprietary software mean? Some company which is selling the software. It's even better than that. Why? Because the community itself is coming and improving the code, right? It's better than what any software engineer, professional software engineer can do. So will you actually buy proprietary software anymore? Will you just download it directly from the internet? You won't, right? You'll be downloading it directly from the internet. Okay, now we come to the last concept in open source licensing, and then we'll take doubts. So now that I've made a program, okay, I want to put it free on the net. So what will I put in the licensing agreement? That contract I said, right? All the terms and conditions. How will I frame the contract? So there are 3 ways to do it. The GNU GPS licensing system, the Creative Commons licensing system, the Berkeley Software Development Licensing System. Okay, there are 3 ways to do it. And all 3 systems have a different kind of template as to how I can write the contract. Okay, so even the proprietary software makers such as Microsoft, Apple, Adobe, all of them, even they put their software licenses in these formats because these are so good, so beautifully written and so robust that even the proprietary software makers use them. So after that, there's a small company, open source initiative, that came up and it studied all these licensing templates, and then they released a 10-point criteria, and they give this OSI certified mark. As in, like, if they give that mark, it means the licensing template is amazing. Okay, so you can go to the open source initiative website and download the template, and after that, you can use that template to make your own license. That's all. Okay, this is all like super extra information, but whenever I think it won't come in the paper, that's when SM puts it in the paper. So remember this. So moving on, coming back to Bhuvan. Okay, Sharath assigned all the rights to Bhuvan, and now he's relinquishing his rights. What happens to Bhuvan? Bhuvan is screwed, right? So what remedy does Bhuvan have? So what remedy for the licensee when the assignee, not the author, relinquishes the copyright after licensing or assigning it? So he can either have, he has two options. Either under Section 34 of the Specific Reliefs Act, he may claim remedy, or he may go to the Indian Copyright Registrar or the Commercial Court and get a declaration that the relinquishment has no effect. It's void. Okay, then he has to release a public notice in a newspaper saying that what this person did was wrong and this relinquishment has not happened. Then he needs to go to court again to seek an injunction after giving this notice on the assigner from relinquishing the work further. So these are the remedies he has. Bhuvan has. Any doubts in open source? Nothing. I'll be moving on then. Okay, so we come to the next complicated concept now.
Hey, listen, just explain in short again now. I'm confused a little bit.
Which one? Open source. Yeah,
open source only. Yeah. Short example.
One second. Yeah. So what does open source mean? Where first thing I explained is relinquishing copyright. I'm the author. How will I relinquish my rights? I want to put in the public domain. I want to relinquish my rights. So under Section 21, if I put a notice in the newspaper, after the notice has been put, all my rights are gone now. Okay, it's in the public domain. I can't do anything. Now I suddenly find out that Anirban has taken my novel, even though it's free. He has published it and he's selling it commercially. I'm like, how can Anirban do this? I am the author. I have relinquished it. I want it to be free. How is he selling it for money now? Right? So can I do anything to stop him? I can't, because I've already relinquished my rights. I'm an ordinary citizen now, right? So how can I stop him? By using the open source licensing, where I'm putting it in the public domain, but I'm not relinquishing my copyrights, right? By giving certain terms and conditions when I'm giving the novel to the public. And how do I do that? By what is the term called, man? Copyleft. Yeah, it's called copyleft, where I'm giving the work for public dissemination. All the public can use it, but they will still have to obey the terms and conditions that I put. So I'll still remain the owner of the copyright, right? And so there are 3 ways to do this. There are 3 licensing systems: GNU GPS, Creative Commons license, and BSD licensing system. Okay, and then Open Source Initiative has basically taken all of them and compiled all the best ones. They've given a ranking list, and there are like 50-60 licensing templates you can follow. So you can go to the website and find it. So coming back to this example where Sharath has assigned all the rights to Bhuvan, and he after he takes money, he takes 5 crores from Bhuvan. Now he's relinquishing it. So what remedy does Bhuvan have? So Bhuvan has 2 remedies. He can either claim Section 34 of Special Reliefs Act in the principle of justice and equity, or he can go to the Copyright Registrar and the Commercial Court, and he has to follow their instructions. He has to give a notice, then he has to seek an injunction, a lot of things. So these are the remedies Bhuvan has. Done? Are we clear? Which page are we on?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
we're almost halfway done, man. After this, I'll just take a 2-minute break after this topic. So exceptions to the rights of the copyright owner. So what exceptions are there to the rights of the copyright owner? As in, let me explain now. Section 14, it gives all the rights, no? If I write a literary work, all the rights in Section 14A. If I make a cinematographic work, all the rights in Section 14D. Sound recording, Section 14E. Artistic work, Section 14C. computer program section 14B. So all these rights are there, correct? But these rights are not absolute. What does that mean? They're not fundamental rights. They can be taken away. Okay, they can be taken away by amending the Indian Copyright Act. Perfect. They're not absolute. So how much of these rights can be taken away? Let's say India just wants to take away all the copyright rights. Can it do it? It cannot. There are many global treaties which India must follow procedurally and theoretically in order to curtail the copyright rights of the author. Okay. And what are the global treaties they have to follow? There are 3. Okay. First one is the Burns Convention. It's 125 years old, extremely old. Then the TRIPS Agreement, 27 years old. And lastly, the Universal Copyright Convention. Okay. If it follows these 3 conventions and the rules they have put, India can curtail the copyright rights. Okay. So what does the Article 9 of Burns Convention state? Firstly, Burns Convention is very old. Okay. It's not very valid. It's not very relevant, but let's just read what it says. It refers to only 2 categories of work, Article 9, only literary and artistic work. It does not refer to musical or dramatic work. Okay. And it talks only about 2 rights. It only talks about the reproduction rights, no other right. It doesn't talk about the communication, adaptation, how I can make a film with it, nothing, only the reproduction right. So it's a very old and unidimensional article, okay, since it's such an old convention. Wait, so provided the necessary criteria are followed, any country can make laws curtailing copyright. And what are the 3 conditions needed? It has to be some kind of special case. Okay, it can't be a general case. It must not interfere with the normal exploitation of the work, and it must not unduly prejudice the author. I'll explain all 3. Just listen. Okay. What does WTO TRIPS agreement say? It's only 27 years old, right? Article 13 of the TRIPS agreement is much broader than Burns Convention. Why? It refers to all categories of work, literary, dramatic, musical, and what's the last one? Artistic work. Okay. And it refers to all the rights of the copyright owner, not just the reproductive rights. And it also has 3 criteria that must be followed before curtailing. What are the 3 criteria? Special cases. Does not interfere with the normal exploitation of the work, must not unduly prejudice the author. Same 3 conditions. Next, we come to the Universal Copyright Convention. And this is something little not so recent, but it's UNESCO administered by the UN. And it's almost the same as the Burns Convention. But since the US and certain Western countries were not part of Burns, this convention came up. Okay. And India is a member of this one also. India is a member of all 3. So what happens now? Therefore, the International Copyright Order dictates the terms to all the member countries. India is a member country, no? So it has to follow these 3 criteria before curtailing the rights of an author. Okay. So let's say Arya writes a novel in India. Okay. The copyright is protected in India, correct? Obviously, because she has all the rights under 14A. But it is also protected in all the member countries of Burns, TRIPS, and Universal CR Convention. This is called the National Treatment Provision of International Law. Since all the members have signed these conventions, your copyright rights will subsist in all the member nations. So if you go to something like Somalia or Nigeria, which is probably not a member of this, your copyright won't exist there. Okay, just a small thing that I wanted you to know. So what are the 3 things? Special cases, does not interfere with the normal exploitation of the work, and must not be unduly prejudicial, right? So what are special cases? I'll explain it. So I write a poem, right? And the government makes a law saying that it makes it free for everyone. Vishnu cannot sell it. The government declares it as free. This is not valid. Why? It is not a special case. This is a general case. And secondly, it also prejudicially affects me, correct? And it's also interfering with the normal exploitation of the work. Because if it was free, who's going to buy it? Okay, let's not worry about that. It's not a special case. But now Vishnu writes a poem. I've written it about blind people, okay? And it's something very emotionally touching and something that connects with the visually impaired community. So the government declares it free for all blind schools, for all blind students, so that they have access to the poem in Braille. This is valid. This is a special case, something very unique. And Vishnu writes a poem, and due to the pandemic, the government takes the license from the author and it distributes it to all the government institutions. This is also valid. This is a special case because it's due to the pandemic. Okay, but in this case, the government has to pay royalty to the author. Government has to pay me royalty. It can't do it free. And the royalty is set by the commercial court. It's not something arbitrary. So still, even though the government is doing it, Vishnu may still be able to sell the work in any other form. So it does not interfere with the ordinary exploitation of the work.
For B and C, government will give the royalty. For A, government won't give the royalty.
Yeah, obviously. I said it's only for C that government gives, no?
In B also government used to give.
I don't think so. For blind schools, I'm pretty sure it's not.
How the authors get remunerated, right?
Not for this. It's only for a small particular clause over here, only for blind schools. So author has other terms.
I think Vishnu will get remunerated in that case, B.
Okay, let us not break our head over it. Moving on. So when Vishnu, even though the government is doing this, I can sell the work in any other form, correct? So it does not interfere with the ordinary exploitation of the work. Second point, it is a reasonable royalty that is paid, okay? And it is set by the commercial court. The court sets the royalty, which is not too high, not too low. So it does not unduly prejudice the author. It follows the second condition also. And it is a special case. So it followed all 3 conditions, correct? So is this allowed? It is allowed. Okay, so all the rights of the author that have already been curtailed in the Indian Copyright Act. So have you understood till here? After this, we'll move on to the next concept. Any doubts till here? So what I'm trying to summarize is, if you can follow these three criteria that have been stated in these conditions, in these conventions, then the government can curtail your rights. And it has already done it in the Indian Copyright Act. You'll see it in 5 different places. Any doubts?
No doubts.
Okay, so we're halfway through.
Bhuvan ask questions.
You take break.
No,
Vishnu.
Purushothaman, turn on your camera. I want to know. I asked you for notes. Why have you not responded?
I will send you, don't worry.
Send it on the group only. I want everyone to get it.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just take a 2-minute break, okay? I just want to take a walk. Okay, coming back now. Where were we, man? Okay, so very clear, no? The 3 conventions, all of them have the same 3 criteria. If you follow the 3 criteria, government can pass any legislation. Wait, remove this nonsense, man. Okay, so the government can pass any legislation that can curtail the rights of the author. Simple. So where has this already been seen in the Copyright Act? We've already discussed this. First sale doctrine. What does first sale doctrine say? Once you sell the work, the author loses all right over it. Correct? Once I buy a novel from Amish Tripathi, I can resell the book to anyone else. Correct? First sale doctrine applies. Exhaustion of rights of the author happens. We have discussed this before. So what does first sale doctrine do? It curtails the rights of the author. Does it follow these 3 conditions? Does it unduly prejudice the author? No. Why? Because he has already got his royalty. Okay. And is it, I won't call it a special case. Does it interfere with the ordinary exploitation of the work? It doesn't, right? He can make more books. He's getting money. So first sale doctrine is a place where rights have already been curtailed. Second place, there's a limited period of duration of the copyright protection, correct? Where the copyright subsists for the lifetime of the author and 60 years following that, right? Is this also not a curtailment? If I write a novel, should it not exist for perpetuity, right? Should the copyright not exist for perpetuity? By setting a limit of 60 years following the lifetime of the author, is the government not curtailing my rights? Okay. It is, right? But does it unduly prejudice me? It does not, right? Because I'm enjoying the protection for an entire lifetime, following 60 years, after which my descendants also enjoy it. So it's not unduly prejudicing me, correct? Third one, fourth one, fifth one are what we're going to study today. Not today, as in fifth one, we're not going to do. Third one is compulsory licensing. Fourth one is statutory license. And both of these, we'll see how they curtail the rights of the author and they still obey the 3 criteria. So in compulsory licensing, can you see the word compulsory? So it is forced on the author. I want you to remember that. Okay, let us see what these 2 are. And fair deal doctrine is basically where you can use a work, as in like you can blatantly copy it, and it will still not be copyright infringement because it comes under the term of the fair deal doctrine, and that's defined in section 52. So it does not stop the normal exploitation of the work. And why does fair deal doctrine exist? Don't you feel it doesn't make any sense? In a world of copyright, how can you allow people to infringe copyright in certain cases? So the jurisprudence behind that is the author has enjoyed the fruits of society, correct? What the people have built for him, he's enjoying the society, right? Like whatever the parks they built, the roads they built, and he himself has stood on the shoulders of his predecessors, as in he has written a poem. But don't you feel he has been inspired and his work has been molded and shaped by the previous poets before him, right? Therefore now he must also support his successors. He must allow them to stand on his shoulders. But all this must be done without prejudicing his interest. So the fair deal doctrine comes in, where his work is allowed to be exploited without infringing copyright. But again, it's a very small subsection. Okay, don't break it. We're not doing fair deal doctrine today. But just get an idea because it will be there for the final exam. Okay, so copyright, I want you to remember this that I gave you in the PPT last time. Copyright is a balancing act. with a tightrope walker, right? Where you balance public interest and private interest. And you can't let what do I say? What is that called, man? The stick. Yeah, the stick can't flip to either side, because either side, we have already seen the social cost is too high. Society will suffer either way. Okay. So why are we discussing this? You will understand now. So listen to it like a story. We'll discuss about compulsory licensing now. We have seen fair deal, first sale doctrine. We have seen limited period of copyright duration already. Now we're going to see compulsory licensing. Okay. So there's a relation, right, between the government, the author of the book, and society, and what responsibilities exist for each of the three. So the author has the copyright ownership, right? The public is the copyright consumer, and the government acts as this interface, as in the umpire in this cricket match. And it enforces copyright law for the author, and it enforces copyright protection for the author, and all the copyright enjoyment to the public, right? So all three of them are in this tripartite agreement. So listen to it like a story, don't break your head. So author has created an expression. He has written his own novel based on some idea. He has written an expression. And now that he has done it, it's his duty to disclose it to the public. Okay, the author has a monopoly in respect of the expression for his life. As in, for his entire life plus 60 years, nobody can copy the expression. Idea can be copied. Expression is copyright protected, right? Now, the public gets a disclosure of the idea and the expression. Once I write the book, they get the book, right? So they can see my expression and the idea, underlying idea behind it. So the public has a responsibility. It says that the expression will not be copied. You have your copyright over it, but the idea will be used. As in, we are going to stand on the shoulders of the author and use your ideas. And author can't do anything because ideas are not copyright protected. But the author now has a moral and social duty to disseminate his work to the public. Once the author has made something, since he has enjoyed the fruits of society, it's his duty, moral and social duty, to disseminate his creative work to the public so the public can enjoy it. So the public may stand over his shoulders now. Okay, just get this jurisprudential idea. You'll understand what compulsory licensing is. So Amulya has written a book and she's printed 1,000 copies and she has sold all the 1,000 copies. All of them are sold. The book is out of print now. And she refuses to sell more of the book. She wants it to be very exclusive, only 1,000 copies, and she doesn't want to sell anymore. Okay, where is she failing now? She has a monopoly on the idea and the expression. Nobody can copy the book, correct? For her lifetime plus 60 years. So is she not failing her unwritten social contract of widest possible dissemination? She is, right? She's failing her duty as an author. Yes, she has failed. So what happens now? Anil comes. He tells, look, Amulya, I've written such a beautiful book. Something that's going to benefit public and society, right? So he asks Amulya, give me a license. I'll publish the book. You don't do anything. I'll pay you money. I'll give you royalty. I want a non-exclusive license, not an exclusive, just a normal exclusive, non-exclusive license, just a normal license in exchange of royalty. She refuses. She tells, no, Anil, I want this to be an exclusive work. I don't want to disseminate it. So can Anil go to the government and can he force Amulya to grant the license? Yes, it is called a compulsory license. Don't you feel this is something atrocious? You can't even understand it. How can you compel an author to give license? But you can do it. Okay. Why can you do it? Because the author has failed her duty to socially disseminate the work to public, right? So what happens now? Will this affect her prejudicially? What are the three conditions in the conventions? Does it affect her prejudicially? No. Why? Because the commercial court will set the royalty. It will be reasonable. So it's not going to affect her, harm her prejudicially. Will it affect the normal exploitations of work? Of course not. She can license it again. It's not affecting the normal exploitation. Is it a special case? Yes. Why? Because she has failed a moral and social responsibility and duty. So it is in tandem with all the three conditions that have been proposed in the Burns Convention, the TRIPS Agreement, and the Universal Copyright Convention, right? So it is allowed.
I cannot make a movie out of that book, right? Even if it is compulsory licensed then.
You can make one. You can make it. Yeah, you can make a movie. If you can prove to the court that Amulya has refused to grant the license to make a movie to other film producers, then you can do it. You'll understand it. Wait, I'll give you one more. I think it'll become more clear. So Anil, in this case, is a compulsory license seeker. He wants a compulsory license. And Amulya is the compulsory license grantor, right? So Amulya's interest will be protected by the court because Anil can't do it on his own. He has to take it to court. Court will examine the situation. And only if it finds reasonably that Amulya is refusing to disseminate the work publicly, only then it will grant it. Okay. So if the court finds Amulya is willing to make a film with some other producer, just not with Anil, court will not grant the compulsory license. Okay, it will not prejudicially affect her. So what does Section 31 state? It talks about compulsory licenses. Compulsory licenses in works withheld from the public. I have not put the bare act. Section 31 defines it. Okay, the IPAB, as in the appellate board, the Intellectual Property Appellate Board, it got abolished in 2021. It became the commercial court. So every time we'll refer to commercial court. Wherever you have IPAB or appellate board in the act, just remember it is called a commercial court now. Okay, so Anil, he goes to court and he makes a complaint saying that, look, I want to get the license from the book. Amulya is not granting me this license. So court will call Amulya to the court. Okay, it will listen to the author. And if the refusal is not reasonable, the court will direct the registrar, the copyright registrar, to grant the license to Anil. And it will affix the royalty reasonably based on the market conditions. So it does not affect Amulya prejudicially. Okay, is this clear? Because we are moving into a different concept after this. All clear? Okay, moving on. Types of licenses. Yes.
Vishnu, one question I have. Like Amulya is not like giving it to public, but why should Anil only get it? Means that is.
You also go ask. You also go ask. No issue. It's not an exclusive license. It's a non-exclusive license, even end of the day. So it can be given to multiple people. Remember that.
Okay, then again, she will get the royalty then.
She will get. She's the author. She has all rights. No, all the 14A rights she has.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on. What are the types of license you have seen now? Voluntary license and involuntary.
Vishnu, I have a question. In such case, Amulya did one thing. She gave exclusive license to someone, and that person is not publishing the work now. She has an ulterior motive, and what the remedy the other person have now? The next non-exclusive licensing one.
She can continue licensing it to other people. No. She can continue. It's not an exclusive license. It's a non-exclusive license she's giving to Anil.
No, I'm saying like she did exclusive licensing to prevent her work to get published again. She published it, like give that exclusive license.
You can't make it exclusive. Compulsory license cannot be exclusive.
No, before that, like I went to her, Amulya, that for non-exclusive license, and she wanted to protect her work, not to publish. So she gave it to someone like her daughter or son, like exclusive license, and now that person is not printing that particular work. So what remedy I have in that situation? Still, the work is not publishing.
You'll still have to go to court, and you'll have to take that other licensee. The exclusive licensee is considered as the owner, correct? I showed you the section here. No, section 51 states that. Where is it, man? Yeah, section 51. Where is it? Yeah. Section 54 states the owner of the copyright shall include an exclusive licensee. So if she's given it to her daughter as the exclusive licensee, you can take the daughter to the court because she will be considered as an owner to the copyright. That is the remedy you have. What do you think, Krishna? Am I right? I'm not sure, but I think this...
like it is right.
What a fantastic question, actually. Note down Krishna's question. It might come tomorrow. Okay, moving on. Where are we, man? Yeah. So the court sets the royalty, right? Will it affect it prejudicially? No. Court is setting the royalty. Will it affect the normal exploitation work? No. Is it a special case? Yes. Perfect. Moving on.
One more question, Vishnu, I have. Means now she has sold 1,000 copies. That is why we know that she has done some work. Means like she sold only 50, and I never got to know. Then there cannot be compulsory license in that case.
That's what you should know about the work, and you should take her to court. Ask Amulya why you have not done it. First, you have to try for a voluntary license. Voluntarily, if she disagrees, then you go for the involuntary license. Wait, listen now. There are two types of licenses. Voluntary license, where the licensor and licensee negotiate. Where you go to Amulya, you tell, I'm going to give you 500 rupees for each book. You give me the book's rights. So you negotiate, and then you prepare an agreement and sign. It's voluntarily done. What is involuntary license? Where it is not negotiated and it's forced on the copyright owner. And there are two types. Compulsory license, which you have already seen. Second one is statutory license, which you'll see now. Okay, for you to understand statutory license, you need to understand a concept called transaction cost. Because once you understand transaction cost, you will understand the difference between compulsory and statutory license. Because both of them are forced on the copyright owner. Both of them are involuntary. Okay, so what is transaction cost? Suppose all of us in the class, after class, we decide to buy samosa and come, right? Like we send, whom can I give? Okay, you send me only to go buy samosa. I go on my cycle, I take my bike, I go, I buy samosa, I buy tea, and I come back. So what is the cost now? There'll be cost for traveling, petrol cost. There'll be wear and tear of my bike. So I'll have to take my bike for servicing. And there are other hidden costs. As in on the way, I'll meet somebody, I'll have a chat. I'll have to buy him also one samosa. Hidden costs. So what is the total transaction cost per samosa? It'll be 8 rupees for the samosa plus 10 paisa, as in the divided hidden costs, right? This 10 paisa is called the transaction cost. Because at the end, if I buy 100 samosas, it becomes 10 rupees more because of this 10 paisa. I don't know, my math is horrible, but yeah, 10 rupees more. So moving on. Why did we discuss the concept of transaction cost? Does voluntary licensing, as in where you negotiate, where licensor and licensee negotiate, is there a transaction cost? Yes. Why? Because the licensor and licensee have negotiations. It takes time. You have to go to a lawyer. You'll have to travel, and you'll have to go to court if some issue happens. So there are hidden costs, and they all add up to become the transaction cost, right? So there's an enormous transaction cost in a voluntary license. And now you'll understand now. Can the transaction cost be 0? Can it be? It's impossible, right? How can you ever make it 0? Some cost will always be there. It can tend to 0, like in limits and calculus. It might tend to 0, but it's never 0. In a perfect society, it should be 0, but it's never 0. Okay. Voluntary license, it has a transaction cost. Involuntary license, does it have a transaction cost? Yes, even involuntary has it. How? Because in compulsory license, I'll still have to go to court. I'll have to take Amulya to court. I'll have to bring her there. I'll have to give a notice to the registrar. Then the registrar has to pass a directive. It has to set the royalty. Court has to give a decree. All that has to happen, right? I have to go to court, bring the other party to court, directive to the registrar, getting the license by court order. All these add up to the transaction cost. So even compulsory license has a transaction cost. So can you make it 0? This is where statutory license comes in. Okay, where the transaction cost is close to 0. How can you make it 0 now? By not going to court, correct? Is there a way to get a compulsory license without going to court? Yes, by a statutory license. So imagine if you can hand a check preemptively to the copyright owner. I go to Amulya, I give her 5 lakhs, I send her a check and I give her a notice. And then without any court order, without her giving me permission, can I start publishing her work? Yes. Will I automatically get a license? Answer is yes. Okay, it is called a statutory license. I'm not going to court, correct? So my transaction cost tends towards 0. That is where statutory license comes in. The fourth one, as in the first one was first tail doctrine, second was duration of copyright, third was compulsory license, fourth one is statutory license, fifth one is fair deal doctrine, which we covered in class today. It's not coming. Okay, so transaction cost tends to 0 in a statutory license, right? We're almost done. Just two more pages. So the license seeker, as in Anil, he transfers money to the copyright owner. He transfers 5 lakh. He gives a check to the copyright owner and he serves her a notice saying that, look, in 15 days, I'm going to start publishing your work. If you don't challenge this in court, if you don't get an injunction, I can do this. I have a statutory license. Can Anil do this? Yes, he can do this and he automatically gets a license and he starts producing the work. There is no lawyer, there is no court, there is no registrar. So the transaction cost is 0. Is this possible? Yes. And where is it possible? Is it possible for a novel? No. Is it possible for an artistic work? No. Is it possible for a cinematographic movie? No. It applies only to one situation. Statutory license applies only to one small situation, making of a cover version. So you've seen these YouTube videos, no, where some people sing some popular film songs. It's called a cover. I'm making a cover of Tum Hi Ho. Okay, it's called a cover version, no. So statutory license applies only to cover versions, not to books, not to artistic work, not to anything else, photographs, nothing.
You mean remix songs?
Remix also no, not to remix also.
Okay.
No. Okay. So
Only
cover
for
version.
music, Vishnu?
Only for cover version, not even for music. Only for cover version. Okay. What is cover version?
To this song only, right?
You'll understand the difference. For a cover version, the lyrics and the music are the same, right? Only the singer is different. But for a remix, only the lyrics are same. Music and singer are different. Are you getting what I'm saying? So this applies only to cover version where music and lyrics are the same. Okay, don't get confused. I answered Srihari, don't get confused. So statutory license defined in section 31C applies only to making of a cover version. Okay, so what does 31C state? I've only put all the important clauses. Upon the expiration of 5 calendar years, remember this term because you'll understand it now. Paid for a minimum of 50,000 copies of each work, remember this. And the appellate board, as in it's been abolished, it's the commercial court, fixes a low minimum. Okay, remember these 3 phrases, you're going to understand them. So what is the cover version? Ajmal writes the lyrics, Anil is the music director, and Piyash makes the sound recording. Okay, so Ajmal and Anil are the music and lyrics copyright holders. Piyash buys the license from them, he gets the license, and it's called a MEC license. You've discussed this before, right? Piyash takes license from both of them, and they have separate individual rights under 13.4. Their separate copyright rights exist. Mr. X sings the song, Arijit Singh sings the song, and he has performance rights we discussed in class today. Forget about it, section 38. Okay, and this happens in 2015. Remember the date, it's very important because what does the clause say? Expiration of 5 calendar years. For the statutory license to happen, 5 years should have passed. Okay, so 2015, the song has been released by Piyash's T-Series. So Sharath has a competing sound recording company, something else, Red Chillies Entertainment. Okay, in 2020, 5 years have passed, 5 calendar years have passed. He wanted to remake the song with a female singer, with Shreya Ghoshal. Okay, Sharath approaches whom? How can Sharath do this? Sharath, the sound recording copyright cannot be infringed from remaking the song. Okay, so Piyash has no business coming in the remake. So he doesn't have to go to Piyash. Okay, so Sharath goes to get the license from the lyrics and the music copyright owners. He goes for a voluntary license. He tells, look, Ajmal, Anil, I want to remake the song. Piyash has no business interfering. You give me the license now. Okay, you give me a voluntary license. We'll negotiate. I'll give you royalty. But both of them refuse. They both, Piyush puts pressure on them and both of them refuse. They tell, no, we don't want to do business with you. So voluntary license is not possible. So now he tries for an involuntary license. Okay. And what are the two types of involuntary license? Compulsory license, statutory license. For compulsory license, the work should be not disseminated, correct? It should be hidden. As in, Piyush has made the song and he's not released it to public. That's what Krishna had asked me, right? So in this case, a compulsory license is not possible. Why? Because Piyush is already publishing it. It is being disseminated to the public. So you can't go to the court and say that it's not being published. So compulsory license is impossible. So what is the other form of involuntary license? Statutory license. So that is the remedy Sharath has. So it is being disseminated, right? So section 31 can't apply. So Sharath goes for statutory license, section 31C. Okay. So upfront, a lump sum is paid. He pays ₹5 each. And this amount is set by the commercial court. Okay. For a pack of 50,000 copies of the song. Why is he buying 50,000 copies of the song? What does it say? Paid for a minimum of 50,000 copies of the work. You might want only 10,000 copies. As in you're going to play the song only 10,000 times. You can't. 50,000 is the minimum. Okay. So he has to pay where's it, man? ₹5 for 50,000 copies of the song. So how much does he pay? 2,50,000 is paid to both the lyrics and music copyright owners. Okay. He pays them. He serves them a notice. After 15 days of giving the check, Sharath can release a cover version of the new song with Shreya Ghoshal. Okay. But there are certain conditions listed in 31C. He has to put a disclaimer saying that this is a cover version and he must explicitly say that it's not the song of Mr. Arijit Singh. And the public must clearly know that it is a new work. So if you obey these conditions under 31C, you can make a cover version by getting a statutory license. Okay. Now, transaction cost has gone to zero. Why? Sharath has not gone to court. Statutory royalty predetermined by the board or court, right? The court decides what is the royalty, as in ₹5 or ₹10 per song. 50,000 is the minimum. So whether you want 10,000 copies or 20,000 copies, 50,000 is minimum. So is it prejudicially affecting the work of the author? No, right? Is it affecting the normal exploitation of the work? Of course not. They can still release ringtones. Correct. And is it a special case? It is a special case, right? So it follows all the three conditions listed in the conventions. So it is valid. So in 2012, till 2012, it was under section 52, under the fair use provisions, under fair deal doctrine. But in 2012, it was put as an explicit section itself under section 31C. Wait, last concept and then I'll take doubts. So when there's an attempt to get a voluntary license, Sharath tried to get a voluntary license. The negotiation failed. He couldn't do anything. So he has to wait for 5 years, 5 calendar years. After that, he can send a check to the individual right holders for 50,000 copies. That is the minimum. After that, you can make your cover version. It applies only to statutory MEC licenses, as in only songs, only for music, for making cover versions. It's only a small thing. It does not apply to books, cinematographic works, computer programs, sound recordings, nothing else. Okay, and last point is, the UK does not have this concept at all. UK does not even have statutory licenses. It used to have it. But then it removed it in 1987 when it released the new act because it doesn't want this. It wants to give room for negotiation. It prefers voluntary license agreements over involuntary license agreements. Okay, we're done. Any doubts? As in we're done with this concept. We have more. Okay, any doubts? Okay, I'll be moving on. Okay, so the next concept is you've understood what is a compulsory license. You've understood what is a statutory license. So now, lyricist and music director have both given an exclusive license to the song rights copyright holder, sound recording copyright holder. Exclusive means all the rights have been given to the copyright holder and they've given the license for the entire duration of the copyright, as in 60 years following the publication. So the song rights copyright holder is the de facto owner now. Correct? We've already discussed this. So now that he is the de facto owner of their copyrights, now can Sharath get a compulsory or a statutory license? Can he do it? He cannot, right? Pretty much what is your common sense understanding state? Now that the ownership also has been pretty much de facto transferred. And according to section 51, where it says that the exclusive licensee is also considered as the owner, can he still get a statutory or compulsory license? Can he? Answer is yes. Okay, I'll tell you why. So imagine in 2017, okay, exclusive license has been given to the sound recorder. As in Piyush, Ajmal and Anil have given all their rights, exclusive rights to the sound recording company by Piyush. They've given all their rights for the entire duration of the copyright to the sound recorder. So now will 31C apply? Can Sharath still get a statutory license in face of an exclusive license that has already been priorly given? Answer is yes. So Anil wants to engage a new singer and he wants to remake the song. So he goes to them in 2017. He tells, can you give me the rights? They say, sorry, bro, we've already given an exclusive license to Piyush. We can't help you. So Anil comes every year. 2018 he comes, 19 he comes, 20 he comes, 21. Now it's 2022. 5 years have passed. Okay. Now he wants a statutory license. What happens? Yes, he may do so. Okay. Because in 2016, all the exclusive rights were granted to the sound recording copyright, right? That means it was a voluntary license. between the sound recorder, lyricist, music director, and the sound recorder, right? So all the 14A rights were granted to the sound recorder. Now 2022, 5 years have passed. 5 calendar years have passed. So 31C can apply now. So now Sharad gives a notice. He gives an amount for the 50,000 copies, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, whatever is set. He gives the amount. Now can he proceed with making the remake? Answer is yes. And what is the jurisprudence behind it? A contract cannot go against actual law. So even though in 2016 a voluntary contract was made, in 2022 it violates section 31C. So Anil has a right to claim a statutory license. See, don't try and twist and turn this, because this is something Matilal sir has said. This whole concept, it's a complete fabrication in his own mind. Okay, so just try and understand what I explained. So according to SM, he says that 31C will always hold. Okay, irrespective of whether it's an exclusive license or not, you can always claim a statutory license for a cover song. That's all. Okay, is this clear? After this, we're moving into something slightly different. Okay, I'll be moving on. So now we have 3 important Indian cases. Okay. Whew. So lyrics and the music copyright holders in a country are represented by the IRPS. That's a society, something Indian, something performers rights society. Okay. So all the copyright holders are represented by IRPS, and all the song recording copyright holders, as in T-Series, Red Chilli Entertainment, all the music companies are represented by PPL, and now it's called RNPL. I just wanted to understand that societies are representing them. Okay. So the first case, Music Broadcast Private Limited versus IPRS, not IRPS, IPRS, sorry. A radio station, as in some FM, 94.3 something, it was playing pre-recorded music. Some movie songs it was playing. Okay. And there are 3 copyrights, right? Lyrics copyright, music copyright, sound recording copyright. It has to pay royalty, correct? So the radio station was paying royalty to IPRS on behalf of the lyrics and music copyright, because we said, right, lyrics and music copyright holders are represented by IRPS. So all the royalty was being paid to them. Okay. But the radio station did not pay any royalty to the sound recorder. It paid only to the lyrics and the music. So IPRS, it became very greedy and it demanded more royalty. It said, no, this is not enough. We want double. So the radio station went to court. And what did the court do? Court completely reversed the situation. Court said that when the CD was purchased, let's assume the CD is 500 rupees, 50 rupees had already gone to the lyricist as his royalty. 50 rupees had already gone to the music director as his royalty. And the remaining was with the sound recorder. So what has happened? The court said that the lyrics and music copyright holders have already received royalty, which is the 50 rupees each upon the purchase of the CD. And while the song is being played on the radio, it is the sound recording that is being exploited, right? The recording of the music is what is being played, right? So the lyrics and music guys have already got their royalty. They have no business coming and claiming royalty here. Therefore, only the sound recording copyright holder must get royalty. IRPS gets 0. This is the verdict. So the verdict completely changed it. Here the radio station was giving the royalty to these 2 and not the sound recording. Court said these 2 don't get anything. Only the sound recording should get it. Okay. One more case happened. Aditya Pandey versus IPRS. Same, IPRS is there in all 3. Aditya Pandey also had he had some event management company. Okay. So there was a marriage and he was playing some film songs. So IPRS filed a suit. And Aditya Pandey was paying royalty to the sound recording copyright. He was paying T-Series, right? So it went to Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court came with the same verdict. It said that only the sound recording is being exploited. Lyrics and music copyright holders have already received royalty. Therefore, only the SR copyright holder must get the royalty. IRPS gets 0. They said the same thing. Again, one more case. Mathrubhumi Printing versus IPRS. Kerala High Court said the same thing again. It said that IPRS gets 0. I don't know if it's IPRS or IRPS. Just check it once. It said same decision. IPRS gets 0. Only the sound recording has to get money. Then finally, all 3 went to Supreme Court. It reached the Supreme Court. What does the Supreme Court say? It held that the High Court is correct. Royalty must be paid only to the sound recording copyright holder. IRPS gets no money. Okay, it keeps shifting, man. IPRS, IRPS. So what does SM say? It is a wrong decision by the court. Okay, why? Why is it wrong? When the CD is played, is only the sound recording being exploited? No. When it is being communicated to the public, as in section 14A3 talks about it, communication of your work to the public, even the music and the lyrics are being communicated, not just the sound recording. So all copyright holders must receive royalty, right? And the argument that the court made, it said that the 50 rupees that they got already when the CD was sold, so that they'll be getting dual royalty. That argument is complete nonsense. Why? Because even the sound recording copyright is getting dual royalty. Even he got the remaining amount, right? When the CD was sold. So why is he getting dual royalty and why are these guys not getting? So that is what SM's argument is as to why it is a wrong decision. So now, okay, have you understood the 3 cases? Next we move to one more concept and we're done after that. Okay, moving on to the next concept now. Let's say there's an Indian music, as in some Bollywood song. It's played in a French restaurant in France. Okay, owner has to give royalty to all the copyright holders. Why? Because France like India is a member of the 3 conventions, right? And I told you some term, right? The copyright will subsist in all the member nations. So
One
when you
question.
use, yeah.
Like we have like hotels and parties, like they play songs, so they are infringing copyright.
They are. So what I'm saying is, what SM said is, you have a party at home, no? It's normal, small party, and you're playing music for 10 people. It's allowed. But if you're going to a stadium and you're playing music for 50,000 people, or you're playing it on the radio where 1 crore people are listening, all that is copyright infringement.
Yes,
Basically,
like hotels and all, if you might.
It's invalid. Even Indian Idol, man, we all watch Indian Idol, no? Saregama, all the music. Whenever they sing a song, they're paying royalty to the copyright owners. Okay. So everything, wherever music is played for public, then you'll have to pay royalty.
Every time, but?
Every time. You're liable to pay. If they take you to court, you're liable to pay. Okay. Now, Indian music is played in a French restaurant in France. Now, France is a member country, correct? So India's copyright is protected there. So the owner, the French owner, he gives royalty to all the 3 copyright holders. So he gives it to the Sound Recording Society, some society for the sound recorders, and it gives for the Lyrics and Music Society, as in the society which represents the lyrics and music directors of India. So they keep some administration charges, right? It's a non-profit organization, and then they give the rest to the individual copyright holders. Simple. Now, when the French music, some French song is being played in an Indian cafe, even then India has to obey their copyright law. India is a member country, correct? So Indian societies for sound recording and music and lyrics, they collect the royalty from the Indian hotelier. The hotel owner, they take the royalty and they hand it to the French societies. And this is an international arrangement that is followed in every single nation. Okay. But now that the Supreme Court decision has come, only the French Sound Recording Society is getting royalty. Okay. The French lyrics and music societies ask money from IRPS, but IRPS itself is getting nothing now as it is. So how can they give money to the French society? Therefore, what happened was, when this case was happening in court, all these international societies also came as a party to this case. So the entire international society came together as some association, ASCAB or something, and they joined as a party to the case because they also had a similar interest, right, in this. But the Supreme Court, they proposed this whole business model. They explained this to the court, but the court refused this argument and it rejected it. It said it's all bullshit and it upheld its decision. It said only sound recording gets. Okay. Done. Now we come to the second last concept, I think, and then we move to statute. We're almost done. Okay. Cover versus remix. The question that you guys asked. So what is a cover? Same lyrics. Correct. Lyrics don't change. Same music. It is the same song. Only the singer is changing.
Wait
right?
a second. Sorry to interrupt. It's a small question that I want to ask regarding cover. So there are a lot of people who have the YouTube channels and make cover songs, right? For different very famous songs. Do they have to give any royalty? Like
they're supposed to. Legally, they should.
Okay, so a legal case can be made out. My God.
Yes, it can be made out. But the companies don't do it. That's all. They don't take them to court. That's all.
All right. Okay.
Basically, we discussed this last time also. If I buy a computer game, as in like some PC game, GTA, San Andreas, Counter-Strike, I cannot resell it. If I resell it, the company can take me to court because reselling is not allowed for computer programs, right? But the fact is, they don't take you to court. That's all.
Vishnu?
Yeah.
One, say I recorded like gameplay video and uploaded to YouTube, and then they asked to like remove, like software automatically asked to remove the songs, right? So how is like why? It's just asking. So they have given license only to the game company only. That's why.
I don't know about a game. Like if the song is made exclusive for the game, I don't think this will happen. Only when you play something that's like a film song, only then it is copyright infringed. As far as I know, like I watch Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma episodes on YouTube, and whenever some film song comes, they mute it, right? So because the film song has separate copyright with its own self. I don't know YouTube's policy. Okay, don't ask me questions with respect to YouTube. But the general rule is, you can make a cover under statutory license. That's all. Don't ask me too many questions because even SM doesn't know, I'm pretty sure. So I'll just explain what a cover is. Same lyrics, same music, right? The rhythm is the same, the music is the same, tempo is the same. Only the singer is different, as in I'm the singer instead of Arijit Singh. What is a remix? The lyrics are the same, correct? Only the music is like faster and there are more beats. It's slightly different. So it's a different music. So 31C does not allow this. 31C statutory license only for cover versions. Remix does not come under 31C. So if I want to make a remix, what do? I need a separate license from the underlying copyright holders. As in, I'll have to get a voluntary license from them. Or if I can somehow prove that they're not disseminating it under section 31, I can get a compulsory license from them. But that's not going to happen. So it's only a voluntary license. Okay, that is the difference between cover and remix. So one more small concept that sir explained. I think we have already discussed this. The sound recording copyright can be infringed only by physically using the sound recording. Okay. If musicians perform the song, as in I have a wedding, I'm not playing the song from T-Series. I've called musicians to play the song. Now I don't have to go to the sound recording copyright holder and pay him royalty. I can take permission only from the lyrics and the music copyright owner, and I can play the song without worry, because the sound recording copyright is not infringed. It can be infringed only if I'm physically exploiting the song. Okay, just wanted you to know that, because in Indian Idol and all, as far as I know, like there are people who play the music, right? Like the violin and all. So I'm assuming they pay only the lyrics and the music copyright holders, not T-Series, not the sound recording copyright holder. Okay, because musicians are performing it. Moving on to the last concept, okay? Because I've not finished this, I'll still have to add my notes. I'll add a bit of it as we're discussing only, okay? It's not complicated at all. Statutory Broadcasting License, Section 31D. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah. So what does Statutory Broadcasting License say? It applies only to two things, okay? Radio broadcasting and television broadcasting. And why this is important is, the question arises in a case whether it applies even to internet broadcasting. Suppose I play a song on the radio, okay? This applies, 31D applies. Suppose I play a song on the television, 31D applies. Suppose I play a song on Spotify on the internet through some internet OTT platform. Does it apply? No, internet broadcasting does not come under 31D. That's what you're going to see now. It applies only to television and radio stations, not to any other form of broadcasting. Okay, so just quick pointers, because I'll add the notes and I'll share it to you guys. It's very simple. Just I'll make the notes here only. 1 second. Okay, so what does 31D state? What did we see in all these cases? No, all the IRPS cases, the court said only the sound recording copyright holder has to be paid, not the lyrics and the music copyright, right? But when it's being broadcast, statutory license is being broadcast on radio and television, right? The court has said all three royalties have to be paid. Okay, so this is contrary to the judgments. Don't ask me why it's contrary, how it's contrary. It's contrary. Okay, moving on. So then there was a case. Wait, I wrote it in Constitution and today's notes. Yeah, so then there was a case. Okay, the case name is Warner Chappell versus Spotify. What happened in this case? Spotify took Warner Chappell to court because they asked for the rights to play the music on their internet platform. Warner Chappell refused. Then they went to the court saying that under 31D they should get a broadcasting license. Okay. What did the court say? Court said that it does not apply. It does not apply to internet broadcasting. Internet broadcasting does not apply. Does not come under 31D. After that, there was one more case. Tips Music versus Wink. Wink is the app all of us know, right? Airtel app for music. So Wink Music. Court said the same thing. Okay. Internet broadcasting does not come under 31D. Okay. And then after that, what SM said is, it is the correct decision. 31D applies only for radio and television broadcast. And what had happened before this is IPIB, the IPAB, and now it's the commercial code, right? They had released a memo in 2016. So I shared a picture of it in 2016 stating that internet broadcasting is also under it. But then the court came out and said, no, this is not true. And SM said, yes, court is correct. Okay. And he went into a concept of how the executive has no business dictating how the legislation is interpreted. The court should do it. All right. After that, what is the last concept? Yeah.
But
so
Vishnu,
what does
does it
Spotify
not
do?
sound so unfair?
It's unfair.
Is it not so unfair that Spotify plays it like you don't have to get a royalty? Come on, like, then why would like?
No.
You know,
It's not that if
so unfair.
No, it's not that if Spotify plays it, nobody gets royalty. This is the final concept. Okay. What remedies to Spotify? Why have I written royalty, man? What remedies to Spotify? What can Spotify do now? Okay. Spotify cannot get a statutory broadcasting license under 31D, right? That's what the court has said. But Spotify can go get a voluntarily negotiated license. Normal. They can negotiate the sound recording, the lyrics and the music copyright. They can get a voluntary copyright license, right? Can they get a compulsory license? Yes, they can do that also. They can get a voluntary license. They can get a compulsory license. Only the statutory license, and especially the statutory broadcasting license, does not apply to them. Statutory license doesn't come because they don't play cover versions, right? So they can get a voluntary license. They can get a compulsory license. They cannot get a statutory broadcasting license. Okay, that's all. This is the ending. Is everything clear, guys? I'll refine the notes for the last concept. Okay.
Vishnu, one like question
Wait a
paper action.
second. You said, yeah. Let's look at the question. But before that, Spotify does play cover versions as well. Come on.
No, one. Is Spotify making the cover version? No, right?
Yeah, it's not making it.
31C applies if you want to make a cover version. They'll go to Sharath and get the rights. Once the person has made the copyright, they get it from individually from him voluntarily.
All right, Vishnu. Okay.
Yeah, send me the paper, no, Shriyari.
In the chat only, if you can see.
Yeah. Here only. Wait.
Yes.
Okay. Wait. I have to share the screen. Okay. Okay.
Vishnu, before that, I want to answer Shriyari's that question. He asked the game and music one.
Go on.
You remember you gave an example when our college make a video of our college and somebody produce it for us in under section 17. Remember? That was for what was that? C, I guess. The employment, but under.
When you make a cinematographic film, that only the movies rights remain with IIT Kharagpur.
Yeah. So the music, you can't play. If I made that video, if I'm showing it in public, I have a copyright to just play it for myself, not into the public. So that music should be barred, playing into the public. So that's how the game is getting the music, while that is playing on the platform itself. If you are taking it out from that particular platform, they don't have a right to give that music, play that music out.
You can continue it only in the normal exploitation of the work. Anything beyond the normal exploitation, you can't.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. Moving on to the question. Is my screen visible, guys? Can you see the question? Okay. I'll read it slowly now. Amal, a celebrated poet, has written more than 25 poetry books. Okay. Many of his poems have been set to music. So Amal has the lyrics copyright and they've been made into songs. In the year 2013, Rahim, a famous music composer, set to tune one of Amal's poems entitled He Walks in Glory. Beautiful. The poem praises and seeks to capture the sense of the glory of the Himalayas. All this is legal jargon, forget it. The poet ascribes human traits, emotions and intentions to the Himalayas. And then he goes on to convey the grandeur and gorgeousness of the anthropomorphic Himalayas. So I'm isolating the idea from the expression, abstractions test. So what is the idea here? Assigning human emotions, personifying the Himalayas is an idea. But the way he does it, him associating human traits, emotions and intentions, that is his expression. Okay, moving on. Finally, the poet portrays this outer beauty as a representative of the inner goodness and virtue. This is also expression. Inspired by, so expression can't be copied. The idea can be copied. As in, I can also write a poem singing the glories of Himalayas. Inspired by the traditional Andalusian music, Rahim composed the underlying music score. Beautiful. Hereafter, the combination of the poem and musical score will be referred to as the song. Okay, Rahim has the musical copyright. Amal has the lyrics copyright. So on January 1st, 2014, Symphony Music Private Limited, sound recording copyright holder, a record label, produced a sound recording of the song. The song was sung by Miss Geeta and it was an instant hit. And the Symphony Music had duly engaged and taken permission from Geeta, the performer's copyright. So they have the right. And the same is not the subject matter of the current dispute because this is not part of the syllabus. SMPL had entered into a license agreement with Amal for producing the sound recording. Beautiful. And what does the agreement state? Let us see if it has that future after arising technologies. So grant of license, subject to the terms and conditions contained herein. Amal, as the owner of the poem, hereby grants to SMPL and SMPL hereby accepts from Amal an exclusive, it is exclusive, transferable, so he can transfer it to others, alienable, assignable, sub-licensable, royalty-bearing license. So they are the de facto owners now, right? They're only not getting an assignment. They are the de facto owners throughout the world and for the entire term of copyright to make an digital use of the poem, including but not limited to making a sound recording in the digital format. Beautiful. Does after arising technology come now? Without prejudice to the generality of the foregoing provision, SMPL shall be entitled to convert the poem or any part thereof to digital form. Beautiful. Put and upload the title, clippings and contents of the poem or any part thereof to third-party websites. Beautiful. Authorize any visitor to listen to the poem. Beautiful. Authorize expressly or impliedly who visits to reproduce transiently any part of the poem. Yeah. All these conditions. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Fifth one. Cause or authorize others to cause the poem or any part thereof to be embedded in compact disc or any other medium capable of containing sounds in digital form. This is the clause you need to remember. What is it stating? I'll read it slowly. Cause or authorize others, as in themselves, to cause the poem or any part thereof to be embedded on compact disc or any other medium capable of containing sounds in the digital form. This is troublesome now. Okay, next clause. Sell, deliver and distribute any such compact disc or other medium in which the poem or any part thereof are embedded. Transmit through networks in digital form for sale or distribution or hire, or offer for sale or distribution or hire any copy of the poem or any part thereof. Oh man. Okay, that's it. Shall not be liable to distortion, alienation, blah, blah, blah. So SNPL had also agreed. Oh my God, there's one more with Rahim. God bless me, man. Subject to the terms of conditions. Moving on, without prejudice to the generality of the foregoing provision, Rahim does hereby acknowledge that SNPL have the exclusive right. They've got an exclusive license from Rahim also. Okay, including but not limited to making of digital or analog sound recording. Beautiful. And Rahim acknowledges SNPL's unrestricted right throughout the world of transfer, reassign, blah, blah, blah. All that beautiful. What is the question? Thank God. Chitra Films Private Limited, a film production company, is making a documentary film on the Himalayas. So if they have to get the license from all three, they have to get a sync license, right? CFPL wants to use the pre-recorded sound recording produced by SNPL in its film. So CFPL wants to know from you from which entity and or which individual it needs license or permission. Okay, so what does it want? It wants the pre-recorded sound recording. That means it has to go to the sound recording copyright holder also. Prepare a detailed note citing legal provisions and case laws. What case law can you really state? I think the IRPS cases you can state. So my legal opinion for this is, even though assuming that this guy has got the sync license, as in this SNPL, the music recording label, it has got the license from Rahim. It has got the license from, what's his name? Amal. Even then, according to section 13(4), the individual copyrights still subsist. Okay. So in order to make the film, CFPL has to go to the sound recording copyright holder and get the license from him. It also has to go to the lyrics copyright holder, get the license from him. It also has to go to the music copyright holder, get the license from him. And once it purchases all three, it becomes a sync license. That's all. Okay. When this sound recording company got it from those two, it became a MEC license. Now it became a sync license. So what is the question? It asks that it wants to know from which entity or individual it needs the license or permission. It needs to go to all three. Okay. Since it's an exclusive license, does that make a difference now? I'll say yes, man, because I think I was slightly wrong. Now that these two guys have given exclusive license to the sound recording copyright holder, according to section 51, the sound recording label, the record label has become the de facto owner, right? So now that they are the owner, the license has to be got only from SNPL. This is my understanding. Anyone wants to differ? Only SNPL.
Also, Vishnu, I mean, all these cases that you listed there, you know, in all those cases, it was only the recorder company who was getting the royalty, right? Not the other two people. Not the lyricist.
But here it's not royalty. It's about who you get the license from. And since the exclusive license has been transferred, still I'll say the sound recording owner is the owner. Okay. Okay, that's all.
All right. Okay.
Moving on to question
I mean, so he has to take license from only the recorder and also pay royalty only to the recorder, because even after getting license, you have to pay royalty, right?
Yes, yes. In case he exploits the work in a form other than the intended purpose, as in he makes a ringtone or he releases the music in some other form, the sheet music, then under section 17C, he has to pay royalty to the underlying copyright holders also, what Krishna stated. Okay, 17C. So question number 2, rightly or wrongly believing that it has power. So we don't know if it's wrong also. SNPL has granted a license to CFPL in respect of the sound recording as well as the underlying musical and literary works. It has the right because it had the exclusive license, right? So SNPL can do this. So moving on, and therefrom earned a royalty revenue of rupees 30 lakhs. Can SNPL keep the entire money with it? Okay. My understanding is only the licensing right can be granted by SNPL. Even after it gives the licensing right, according to section 13(4), the individual copyrights still subsist. So even though it has given the licensing right, this rupees 30 lakh will have to be shared properly between all three of them. This is my understanding. Okay. Anybody differs with what I said? According to the judgments, according to the 3 IRPS judgments, only SNPL has to get this royalty, right? Because what did the recording judgment say? Judgment said only sound recorder gets it. It's complex, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, see, even I'm learning copyright with you guys, so I don't know the answer to this. Okay, let us try and ask Matilal sir tomorrow in the morning. So my understanding, according to the cases that have happened in India, only SMPL gets the royalty. They can keep all of it. But according to Matilal sir, I think he will say that individual copyrights always subsist. According to 13.4, all of them get the royalty. But the Indian legal reality is only SMPL gets it. SMPL can keep the entire money with it. Okay, because the other two have already ex ante taken royalty. Correct? What did I tell you? Ex ante and ex post. Ex ante SMPL has already paid the money for the exclusive license. So they've already received the royalty. Now if they get it, it will become dual royalty according to the Supreme Court. Okay, so this is my answer tomorrow. Question number 3. New Age Music Private Limited intends to make a sound recording of the song engaging Rohit, a promising young singer, because the previous one was a woman, right? Now it's a man. So it's a cover. So section 31C, 31C comes in, statutory license, right? Advise New Age Music Private Limited about the options and modalities of the license. What are the 3 options they have? First one, voluntary license, where they can go directly to SMPL and negotiate a contract, right? And if they don't have to go to SMPL, you don't have to go to SMPL. You don't have to go to SMPL because they're making a cover version, right? Sound recording is not being exploited. They have to go to the lyrics and the music director. Okay. And what will they say? We have already given exclusive, come back next year. So New Age will go the next year. They'll still tell you no. He comes back after 5 years. After 5 years,
But
can he, so voluntary license has not worked. Can he get a compulsory license under section 31? No, because SMP, what is the other company, man? CFPL, they have disseminated the work. If they've kept it hidden in a locker, then he can get a compulsory license from the commercial code, but they've not done that. So even commercial license is ruled out. Last option, statutory license, section 31C. Okay, so he can make a cover version. He has to send them the money for 50,000 copies based on whatever rate is fixed by the IPAB or the commercial code. He has to pay them, serve them a notice, and after 15 days, he can make a cover version with his new singer after putting a disclaimer that the old singer is not singing in this. It's a new singer and this is a different piece of work. Okay, these are the solutions that New Age Music has. I think question number 3, I'll get full marks. Okay, anybody differs?
Yep.
That's all.
No, man, perfect, Vishnu. It was such a comprehensive, nice meet.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Tomorrow
Thank you so
only
much.
20 marks exam, no?
Yeah, 20 marks tomorrow.